this bout is brought to you by Chuck's Boots. Tonight, fighting out of the blue corner this evening, she stands 5 feet 5 inches tall. She weighs in at 115.5 pounds. Fighting out of Coon Rapids, Minnesota, Lynsey Williams. Her opponent tonight, fighting from across the cage out of the red corner this evening. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. She weighs in at 116 pounds. Fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri, Marye Dalton.
Referee Mark Wassam has the call for this ladies contest.
Williams looks very, very intense in there. Marye Dalton looks a little more relaxed.
No touch of the gloves there from Williams. Again, immediately comes out. Big knee to the body. Big takedown there from Lynsey Williams. She's playing huge pressure and head position here against Marye Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton's gonna want to get an underhook with her left arm. Williams trying to pin the right arm of Dalton with her knee.
Williams looking to try to work here, gets into trying to work to side control, starts to land shots to the body.
Dalton needs to get off her back. When you have someone in your half guard, you can't be flat on your back. You have to be on your side.
Williams is doing a lot of pressuring here, using that knee to keep Marye Dalton's head from moving.
Looking for a Kimura. Looks like Williams is fishing for the Kimura, but also using that to try and pass into mount. If she does pass into mount, Dalton needs to start working immediately back to half guard.
Williams is working here very feverishly to get that mount. Dalton doing a good job here maintaining half guard. Oh, big shots there coming.
Dalton has to start working. She has to get to her
Williams moves
side.
over into mount.
Dalton can't sit flat on her back in this mounted position. She has to get to his side, put 2 hands on one knee, and get back to half guard. She also can't think she's gonna muscle Williams over from this position.
Williams looks very tough in this position. .30 seconds remaining here in round 1. This one so far has been all Lynsey Williams.
Yeah, Dalton's just trying to minimize the damage at this point, try and ride it out the next 20 seconds of this round.
.15 seconds remain here as Williams will finish this particular round in full mount.
Try and get to her feet.
Immediately on the kick.
You know, bad move from Dalton. If you're worried about getting taken down, you cannot kick. That's an easy takedown. Right back to the mounted position. where Dalton spent majority of the first round.
This is a very, very bad thing here for Marye Dalton at only 30 seconds into round 2 to be locked into this mounted position. But now it comes down to what can Lynsey Williams do with this position.
Looks like she's shooting for an arm. Looks like she's looking for an arm bar, trying to set it up.
In this women's division bout at Shamrock FC, Lynsey Williams faced Marye Dalton in a fight that showcased one fighter's clear dominance in grappling and positional control. Sponsored by Chuck's Boots, the contest saw Williams enter from the blue corner, standing 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighing 115.5 pounds. She hailed from Rapids, Minnesota. Her opponent, Marye Dalton, represented the red corner, measuring 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing 116 pounds. Dalton was fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri. Referee Mark Wasom officiated the match. From the opening bell, Lynsey Williams demonstrated intense focus, charging in aggressively without a glove touch. She immediately landed a strong knee to Dalton's body and followed up with a powerful takedown. Establishing firm control early, Williams applied heavy pressure with dominant head positioning and worked to pin Dalton's right arm, using her knee while maintaining top control. Williams began advancing towards
that armbar attempt, but is straight back into the mounted position.
Yeah, it just seems that Williams is the stronger physical fighter in this fight so far.
Williams seems to be trying to work a bit of a neck crank there back into the ground and pound. Under 1 minute remaining here in round 2. This is a very tough position for Dalton.
This position Dalton's in is really just delaying Williams from landing big strikes. She's not escaping from this position, almost a stall position.
Just trying to protect herself here from all of those shots. 15 seconds remaining here in round 2. Again, Dalton trying to work anything she can here to try to stop this position. As again, she ends round 2 the same way she did round 1 in the mounted position.
If I'm in the corner of Williams and you have the mounted position, I don't even tell her to go for the armbar. You're up 2 rounds, I'd keep punching away and try and get a stoppage via strikes rather than try for that armbar.
Third and final round. Lynsey again coming in for more of the same.
Yeah, Dalton let her back her up to the cage, which is exactly where she does not want to be. Wrapping that leg around the back of Williams gave her that easy takedown.
You can see the look of frustration here on Dalton's face.
Yeah, I just think she's getting out-muscled in this fight. You know, she's surviving, you know, every attempt at a submission Williams throwing up, Dalton has defended. She's just getting out-strength in this fight so far. Now Dalton has the underhook in the half guard position. If she would get to her right hip, she could start escaping. Right
Again,
into the
Williams
mount
right into mount. More of a bad position here for Dalton. Lynsey Williams in this contest has just been the overall stronger opponent.
Exactly. She hasn't been, I don't think, any more skillful than Marye Dalton. She's just been stronger and more physical this whole fight.
Halfway through round 3. Oh, big shots.
Punches. Even when she throws the punches short, Williams is getting a ton of power with every punch she throws.
Williams just seems to be so physically strong here.
Well, she's definitely in a dominant position, which definitely helps with the strength factor.
Definitely. Under 1 minute remaining here in the fight. Referee Mark Wassam has seen enough, and he calls it off.
Yeah, I don't.
So let's send it up to the cage to Stephen Bear for our final results.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has ended. 2 minutes and 7 seconds of round number 3. Your winner by TKO out of the blue corner, Lynsey Williams.
Lynsey Williams moves her record to 5-0 in the world of mixed martial arts here in the Shamrock FC cage.
7 pounds, stands 5 foot 6 inches tall. Comes to us with an undefeated record of 2 wins, no losses. She represents champion team. She is trained by Korean Conquer. She is sponsored by Rosie O'Grady and Fit RX Food. On Point, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for
All right, fight fans, this strawweight fight about to get underway as we get started here. Nikki Duncan fighting out of the red corner. Teal Nike compression shorts, trimmed in black. Kelly Cutler fighting out of the red corner. Teal trimmed in yellow. Sprinting to the center of the cage is Kelly Cutler.
Yeah, well, you know, she really wants to close that gap because Nikki's known for being a striker. Grabbed her leg, threw it right down the pipe. It was great that she could stay in the pocket, you know, and knew that, you know, Callie had that wrestling background.
Cutler with a clinch is absolutely dangerous.
And that's the thing, you got to use footwork on her so she can't close the gap like this.
Looking to join those hands together, and once she does, somebody's about to collect some frequent flyer miles. Doing a good job of fighting it off.
At the weigh-ins, Nikki forced Callie to drop a few pounds, which came in a little bit heavy.
You know, once you do that, if you recover, you just get angry.
Yes, definitely.
Big heavy elbows there from Kelly. Needs to settle down just a little bit. Tighten up that base. There we go. Now in a nice heavy mount. Duncan gonna quickly turn to give up her back if those shots keep coming.
But Callie did a great job of posturing up, creating that space and being able to drop that.
You have 4 minutes to work. 4 minutes to work.
You know, she's not gonna be able to reverse that just holding on to that head.
No, Callie has so much experience, you know, being in this.
Side control, landing shots of body, and targeting a potential Kimura submission. Marye Dalton, on her back in half guard, struggled to adjust, remaining flat rather than shifting to her side. A crucial error in grappling. Williams remained active, methodically working to pass Dalton's guard and eventually achieving full mount. From there, she rained down significant ground and pound strikes. Dalton made minimal efforts to escape, choosing instead to absorb damage and survive the round. Williams closed out the first round in full mount, having maintained near complete control throughout. Early in round 2, Dalton made a strategic misstep by throwing a kick, a risky move against an opponent with strong grappling. Williams capitalized instantly, scoring another takedown and returning to the mount just 30 seconds into the round. Once again, she dominated positionally and began to hunt for an armbar. Dalton's attempts to escape were ineffective, and she was unable to properly utilize the cage or re-establish a defensive guard. Williams maintained her offensive momentum, throwing heavy strikes from mount and briefly transitioning to a potential submission. Dalton managed to survive an armbar attempt.
But Kelly's got to be a little careful with that knee sliding up high, that right knee of Duncan's.
Right arm. If she goes for an armbar posture.
You know, that's the thing, like you said, they just have to wait to be stood back up. And this is where Nikki really has to be smart out here right now. She's got to use her feet. She's got a pendulum step. She's got to circle in the cage. Just keep creating that space. You have to pot shot. You can't commit with a couple of 2, 3, 4, 5 punches. You have to pot shot. Go in for a shot, move. Go in for a shot, move, so that she can't close the space on you.
Look how quickly Cutler retreats. What she's going to do is she's going to draw Duncan in, trade change levels, and then bring it right to the ground.
She got caught, you know, by Nikki, but Nikki can't stay flat-footed. At times she'll stop, and that's just not a thing that you can do with Callie. This is where you pot shot. She's got to drop those bombs and move. Drop the bombs and move. You don't get a chance to sit there and throw combinations. You got to stay.
Doing a good job of cutting her off as she tries to run around the cage, but you got to do something with it.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's used to people running for her, knowing that she's going to close the gap. Oh, you know, and there, you know, at least, you know, smart from Nikki that she was able to feel the cage behind her and circle off of it.
And absolutely shuffling away from that clinch.
But the problem is, if you know, when you're on your feet, you've got to give her something, put something in her face. Whether, you know, it's a jab, it doesn't have to even land. Just put it in her face and be able to move, find an angle, and fire.
I really think she's a little worried that if she gets close enough to hit Cutler, Cutler can grab her.
Well, especially her left eye, she's having trouble seeing out of it. She's got the big mouse on Nikki's right left eye. And, you know, that's the thing with Callie. She'll throw her hands, too. She's not afraid to let them go that way, even though her strength is on the ground. And that's what you have to do, you know, set the tone with a striker. Just let your hands go and let them know that you're not afraid to strike with them. Both of them landing big
shot
blows.
right up the center.
Both of them kind of, but Callie getting the worst of it on that exchange.
Oh, that absolutely snapped her back.
But that's where Nikki just got to stay at that range. If she walks in, fire on her, and then go.
As she retreats, she's got to stick out a 1-2. The response from Nikki is going to be a 1-2 coming forward, and then you just change levels.
You can see just the blood, and you almost wonder if Callie's nose is broken. Because when you ever see blood dripping like that from a nose, typically it's broken because it doesn't just pour like that unless there's a break.
She's already got that cartilage.
So it's probably easy.
Breaks. Yeah, you look at it sideways and it's going to break.
Yeah.
Here we go, fight fans. Round 2 about to get underway.
Yeah.
Nikki T-Money Duncan, teal shorts trimmed in black. Kelly the Honey Badger Cutler, teal trimmed in yellow or neon or.
You know what Nikki does a
Day-Glo.
good job at too. It doesn't look like she has too much kicking background, but she'll throw some just to distract to throw hands.
Well, Cutler just put the bum's rush on her to take her down. The only thing she's got going for her is she's in her own corner at this point.
You know, Callie, this is where she's got to know she has to end it just because of that nose. Seal the deal right now. Walk away from this with a W, with a stoppage, and less damage to your nose.
Needs big, heavy down pressure, some separation.
Or we can frame up. Good.
Duncan just completely out of her element right now.
Yeah, just trying to hang on to mitigate any of that damage, any of that leather dropping down on her.
Right now, as hard as Duncan is hanging onto that leg, just let her have it. Sit down on that thigh, immobilize the hips, and then beat the snot out of her.
Well, she did a great job of pulling her arm inside of Nikki's. Nikki had the inside position, and she swung it inside so she could be a lot closer.
Working on that eye there, just grinding.
Looking to go body head, smart moves, mixing it up to open up that face, and she did that.
Well, you know, she hit her enough, and Duncan had to finally move that arm. Cutler just relentless, Carol.
Yeah, especially when you know that your nose is dripping. This is where you have to go for broke. You want the ref to stop it. Yeah, and Nikki's, kind of smart to fire from the bottom. Just trying to, you
As
touch
soon as she escaped, she was dragged back into the mounted position. Her defense was purely reactive, as she did little to reverse or stand up. Williams even explored a neck crank at one point, all while delivering consistent ground and pound. As the round ended, Dalton was still mounted and absorbing punishment. Entering the final round, the pattern continued. Williams pressured Dalton into the cage and scored another takedown. Dalton appeared visibly frustrated, unable to physically contend with Williams' strength. Though she was occasionally able to defend against submissions, Dalton remained trapped under Williams' dominant mount for most of the round. Her efforts to escape were limited and mostly ineffective, allowing Williams to continue her assault from a superior position. The physical disparity between
I don't know, like, one of our earlier fights with the big boys. I mean, Aaron doing a good job getting hit with some pawing shots, but they're moving their head and sliding off, rolling off some of the shots.
Working real hard to try to pass that half guard, and it's absolutely unnecessary.
And this is where Nikki has to do everything that she can to try and get a stalemate. All Nikki's got to do, she just got to get in a position where she can't let the beat get the ref board, so you can get back to your feet.
Well, color just brings too much volume for that to ever happen.
You see, Nikki just keeps positioning her. Oh, a couple of those are landing big.
Color just teeing off on her at this point. And here come the frequent flyer miles. Now she's just looking to chop that out. I was hoping she was going to sink those hips in and really take her over the top. Stretching her out and looking to bring her down. And again, grabbing the cage.
Let's go. Let's get to work now.
Now this fight could be over.
I felt those punches from here. Like, 'cause when someone hits it hard enough, their head goes off the mat and you could just feel the vibration. This is something Nikki's definitely going to feel tomorrow. And in future fighting, that wrestler, you got to work those footworks. You got to do your figure eights, your ladder drills. You got to be able to get on your bike, fire, and move.
At this point, you're more likely to see this in a prison than in a cage. This is just a one-sided beating at this point.
Yeah. When you don't see any possibility, Nikki's not a ground person, any possibility of her coming away with some sexy submission, then this is where the ref's got to step in. I use that term just for you.
I appreciate that. I love that in regards to submissions. Looking for the armbar. There it is. This is
there it is.
Beautiful transition. Absolutely relentless. Absolutely relentless. Kelly